why. But anyway, moving right along, we've got Kevin Parra. He's from Australian Strategic Advisory Services. Awesome background. He's worked for a politician. Kevin, you tell more about your background. You know more about you than I do.
Yes. Yeah, it's my favourite topic, actually. But, mate, worked in politics for quite a while, early 2000s. I've worked for mayors and worked down in Canberra. The rest of my team have worked as advisors for senators, for various federal ministers, and for state ministers as well. We cut across the board between Conservative and Labor. We don't care what denomination of politics you are, you know. We're just here to solve problems. So I also have a background in small business. So I've worked in business in the private sector prior to getting involved in politics, and I'm back in the private sector right now. So our whole aim right now is, as Kevin Gammy has, by the way, I'm just going to congratulate him on doing such an amazing job to date in trying to coordinate the assistance for small businesses. I'm doing a lot of work with him and trying to help out a lot of you guys on the BSB side, which is so important because, as we keep telling everyone, we're all in this together and we all come out of this together. We are team one. We are one team.
And it's a big challenge because there's a lot of misinformation about what's out there for people. A lot of people are answering questions on assumptions rather than letting the experts answer the question. So please, one thing I'm going to ask anyone that's here on the show, if someone asks a technical question about the stimulus package or about anything, don't put in what you think unless you really let people know that this is your opinion, not fact, because it's really important. People then go, hey, I'm going to rely on that information, and it can cause some really bad situations. So when it comes to sole traders, really interesting point. Sole trader is a technical legal term that says it's not an incorporated body. Okay, so when people don't have a company structure that they're working for, they may be a sole trader. So having that, we've got lots of different situations that our members have talked about. They've said some of them don't have a corporate structure and they actually employ someone. Others are employing other contractors into their business. And there's an array of different situations that we're trying to cover, and we're trying to get our heads around, does the legislation, well, we don't have legislation yet, that's part of the problem. Does the intent seem like it is going to cover? And that's all we can give you as our best guess right now. Okay?
That's exactly right.
So from Kevin or myself, what we're going to make sure we do, we're going to get you to go, hey, I think I can claim this. Look, at the moment, apart from Centrelink, they're very hard to get hold of. But if you're actually trying to get hold of your local member, probably not your councillor, but if you're trying to get hold of your local state or federal member right now, probably very easy. In fact, I've had one guy actually send me a message today saying, it's never been easier, mate. They're all at home because they've been sent back from Canberra or back from Brisbane, and they've got to self-isolate. So they're actually taking calls and they're fielding questions, and they've got more time than they've normally had to answer you. So please don't think of politicians as the enemy. Think of them as a great resource that you can reach out to. That's the first thing. Kevin, when we do come to sole traders, you've looked into what they can, a couple of different situations of how this stimulus package seems to be helping them already. You've got an inkling that there could be another announcement though.
Yeah, mate, look, from what I can work out, we've been chatting regularly with ministerial advisors, some of the politicians, and the impression is that this is a very fluid process. There is nothing set in stone. No one's ever been through anything like this before. It is, without doubt, the single greatest economic catastrophe that will hit the world in my lifetime.
Hey, it's the worst since the 20s. Oh, hang on, we're in the 20s.
Yeah,
century 20s. So yeah, look, we do need to keep a sense of humor about this too, guys. Like at the end of the day, yes, don't let a little bit of levity fool you, it is a very serious situation that we're in. However, the more we just go down a serious, anxious spiral, the less opportunity you're gonna see. So one thing I'm gonna be encouraging you in business, small business, is to keep your chin up, is to look for the good in the land, right? To look for how so many people are coming together and helping each other out right now. It's something that I have noticed within this, is how many people have been wanting to share information into our group around support that is there, around packages, around information about coronavirus. So much so that we're actually not allowing a lot of it, and not because we're picking teams or anything like that. It is just that many people are looking to put information in. We're going, look, we've already got enough. So please, if you think you've got something that is truly unique and that is genuine advice, not opinion, please don't hesitate to reach out and try and post it up. We'll look into it. We do try and fact check stuff. So it is one of those things that we've got to try and keep abreast of the situation as we possibly can and do the best for you as our community. In relation to that, the directory is there so that you can help us run this group in a better way. And please have a look at how you can support us in doing that as well at the same time. Coming back to sole traders, sole trader. So Kevin, am I a sole trader if I also employ contractors?
You can be. Contracts is perfectly fine. So there's a few things, and which you'll say here. Not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant, and I'm not a legal lawyer or a lawyer of any type. So I can't give you proper financial advice, tax law advice, and nor can I, give you legal advice. What I can tell you though is that certain things might help you identify if you are a sole trader. One of them is, are you using a tax file number to trade with? I mean, sometimes that's a pretty big giveaway.
So my personal tax file number?
Yeah, personal tax file number. That's
okay.
Simple. And there's other ways to find out for sure. A simple phone call to the tax office. They'll let you know pretty quickly, and that's always very handy. So if you are a sole trader, my apologies, Kevin.
And the tax office is one of the groups that you can actually get hold of people in right now.
Absolutely.
So don't hesitate if you've got questions about am I a sole trader to call the tax office or your accountant. Your accountant might charge you, the tax office won't. So, and the tax office are being very, very friendly right now. We've already had that advice from accountants that yes, they're being very friendly, and don't get stressed about what you may or may not owe the tax office right now. If you're behind in your taxes, right now is the time to catch up on them, because they're not going to be that grumpy about it.
That's right. So, mate, that's exactly right. So get in there and discuss it with the tax office. They'll let you know straight away. And as Kevin Gammon was saying, they're not trying to hurt people in this period. They really do want everyone to get back on their feet as soon as possible. They understand just how important it is. Now, the first thing which I'd say, if you're a small business and a sole trader, you've got a few choices. And one of them is, if you find tomorrow that, you know what, I can't keep going, I've got to close the doors, what can I do? You can head straight down, and don't get me wrong, I know the lines are long and I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you head down and you register at Centrelink, because not only do you get the job seekers allowance, which I think is about $250 a week, you'll also qualify on top of that for the coronavirus supplement, which is another $250 a week roughly. So all up, you're going to end up with a guaranteed $500 odd a week. That's just to start off. Next, you can then turn around and apply to get your superannuation early. Not all of it. You can get $10,000 this financial year and $10,000 next financial year. Now, I think this is one of the great schemes and one of the great ideas the government's come up with. But I'm imploring them, and as I've spoken with these advisors, that they need to extend this particular benefit to everybody in the community, that everybody needs to be able to access this, because it's not just sole traders, but there's plenty of small business people who don't qualify as a sole trader, but they are in just as much trouble and need just as much help as the sole trader. So I think if you're listening, we beg for you, and as I've told some of the staffers, we need you guys to open this up to the entire community, 10,000 this financial year, 10,000 next financial year. Make that for everybody, and we might just get out of this pickle.
And that's something that we'll bring up. We're actually going to speak to a minister on Friday, one of the federal ministers on Friday. So we'll let you know a little bit more about that as we go through. So the first thing was the supplement, the Newstart supplement, that they're relaxing in the rules on who can be Newstart. You can still be working your business and still eligible for Newstart, as long as you're not earning more than $1,000 a week. I think the legislation said.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't quote me exactly on $1,000. I think it was 1,000 and loose change or something.
That's right.
But roughly $1,000 a week. You'll still be eligible for Newstart, and then it will just decrease at $1 for every $2 extra that you are earning. So before you lost that $500 a week, you could be earning $3,000 a week. Okay, so think of it in those terms. There are definite opportunities there. If you are a sole trader and you have had contracting sole traders working for you, the only person that you can claim for and have responsibility for is yourself.
That's right.
The other people, guys or girls that you have working for you, they need to claim stuff themselves, right?
That's exactly right.
They can't claim. They can't join you in your claim here in relation to that. So that's a really important point. If you've had employees, that's going to be a different situation. So if you've been operating as a sole trader with employees, you've probably been putting in BAS returns, whether that's quarterly or whether that's at the end of the year. You still would have been putting in BAS returns, and that may affect the rules that we're playing with. Although we believe that you will come up with some of these things, that's something to speak to your accountant about for sure.
That's exactly right. So when in doubt, seek out the experts. So while we can point out to you what's out there and what's worth considering and what you need to really look at, ultimately, you still need to talk to the experts, the financial advisors or the accountants. You need people who will understand the long-term risk versus reward of what you're doing. These are really trying times. These are tough times. And as we said, you'll never see tougher. And we're all in this, and we are all struggling, and we're all working very hard and helping each other. But your experts are an expert for a reason, so please listen to them. In the meantime, definitely look at all the options. And I was going to talk about the two $50,000 loans in a tick, but
we really want to we're going to talk about that more in a future show. We've already talked about this. Just one thing at a time is what we want to focus on. So to find out if you're a sole trader, very basically, if you're a company, if you work your business through a company, you are not a sole trader. Anybody else might be. Right. So if you're operating a business, but you're lodging your tax returns under your own personal tax file number, you're most likely going to be considered a sole trader in the way that they're talking about it here. But once again, speak to your accountant. Okay, that's really important. The other thing that we want to talk about, so you may have no employees. The options are there under Newstart, and you don't have to have no income. You don't have to shut your business. If you can show that your business has been adversely affected, then you can apply for Newstart. Okay, so you don't have to show that you have zero income. You don't have to shut your business down. Under the mutual obligations that you're looking for work, as long as you are continuing to operate your business, the government will consider that your mutual obligations. That's what I understand from what I've already read. So it's really important to understand that. So, when it comes to your employees and their super, if they're not a business owner, they may not be able to draw on their super to help bolster that. And this was some of the information that Kevin was just talking about right now, is that, hey, some people are going to be displaced out of work and they still have very high expenses. Hey, they used to be earning $40,000, $50,000 a year, and all of a sudden they're earning nothing. Yes, they can get Newstart, and they might get the $26,000 a year, but they've got $40,000 a year expenses. So, it would be good if everyone could access their super at this point in time.
Kevin, very quickly, just want to remind people too, and I'm not trying to give a plug, but if you don't know an accountant or you don't know a financial advisor, I do know on the website there are heaps of them out there, and it's worthwhile heading onto the Brisbane Small Business website and tracking down a few. So just want to throw that in there.
Very hard when you're all back to front to try and work that out. Sorry about that. Looked like I was about to pick my nose. I wasn't. What we're about to do is it's really important that you keep talking to experts. Right now, especially, particularly when you're dealing with finance and you're dealing with issues that could have an impact on the remainder of your life, people are going to be very generous, and so we will be getting financial experts and to come and do live streams with us. We will be getting accountants and financial advisors, so accountants and financial planners and that sort of stuff, to give you better advice on a different course of action. Of course, it's always going to be dependent on your personal situation. You need to look at that. That's very important. But I do want people to be thinking cautiously about the moves that they're making from this point of view, and looking at how you can position yourself to make the most of opportunities right now, and different opportunities are coming up. Before the GFC, big businesses were already using a whole lot of offshore talent and that sort of stuff. After the GFC, it seemed that offshore talent was available to every single business, big or small, right? Doesn't matter what your personal philosophy is on offshore talent, people are using them and they feel that that's the best thing in their situation. The same will happen through this cycle. It's going to happen probably more about working online. And one of the things that we're going to put together very, very quickly here at Brisbane Small Business is an online conference where we can help you understand how we can transition, or how you can transition a lot of your business online, so that you can save time, you can save money, and you can actually make more money. So we will be doing that. That's coming very, very soon. Look out for that. I did also talk earlier about the fact that we're talking to a minister on Friday, which is pretty exciting. Federal minister talking to our group. It's a bit humbling for me. It's Trevor Evans, who is our local member in the Senate for
in the House of Reps, mate.
House of Reps. See, I get confused all the time. Thank you very much.
That's okay. Federal member for Brisbane, Trevor Evans.
He's a federal member for Brisbane. That part's, yeah, that's absolutely true. The rest I just made up. See, opinion. Don't listen to opinion. I'm sure Trevor will be very, slap me around a little bit on Friday about this too. Now, he does have his finger on the pulse. Okay, he's been elevated into a ministry in this most recent Parliament sitting, and basically he is very much have his finger on the pulse. He comes from a small business background with his family having small businesses. He then was in retail and worked into the Retail Association of Australia, and I was actually leading that prior to going into politics. So he is very passionate about how the government is helping small businesses like you and I. He very much relates to us. So
he's a wonderful minister too, mate. But just on that topic, and I think I've said to you before, Kev, I just want to everyone watching out there, I know how hard it is right now, and I know you're suffering. I'm suffering too, and I've read some of the stories and the people losing their jobs, and I've actually cried a few tears with a few people, and I'm really sorry, because I know none of this is your fault, and you've worked so hard and you've done your best to get here, and you're watching it all slip away. It's not over. We're going to push forward, and we're going to come out the other side as one. Keep in mind, I know the politicians, you might be getting frustrated with them. They are working. Doesn't matter whether it's council, state or federal. It doesn't matter whether it's Liberals or Labor or anybody else. I can assure you these guys are working tirelessly to try and solve this one-of-a-kind problem, one that we'll never see again.
Yeah, Trevor was actually asking, how quickly he could get to have a chat with us. And we were negotiating when we both had time, and Friday at 1 o'clock came up to be the time. So very, very rapidly, but it's also going to give us a little bit of time to understand the situation that we're all currently in, so that we can ask some really great questions and put forward some really great proposals to him at that time. So please bear with us in relation to that. That also reminds me, the other people that I want to speak to, that I want to reach out to, are some mental health professionals, because I do know that it's going to be challenging for some of us. Okay, having pasting a smile on our face and pretending it's all going to be happy and cheery isn't going to work. We need to be genuinely addressing the problems and working with resilience through the challenges that we have. But the community is here to band together. That is why I started Brisbane Small Business in the first place. So to remind us that, we're not in it alone. There's now 8,500 of us. At the moment, we're growing by more than 100 a week. So there's no reason that we won't, in another month's time, have 10,000 or 12,000 plus people. So if you know other small business owners who are feeling like they're in it by themselves and would like some support, get them to join Brisbane Small Business. Get them to follow the streams, to throw some comments in, to basically, feel like they're part of the gang, because they are part of the gang. Everyone that joins is part of the gang. We are here to help each other, and as we do so, we will come out really strong. So that's the message I've got for you all. That's the goal that I've always had with Brisbane Small Business, is how can we all help each other to basically perform at another level. And if performing at another level during this time period means that more of us survive, then that's an awesome result that we've got. So thanks very much for listening today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin Parra, for giving your time twice.
Well, I just want to finish by saying too, if anyone needs any help, contact Kevin Gammy or myself. We're here to help you. And a lot of the time it might just be traffic copying, and that's okay. But we'll do whatever we can to help you out. And you're not alone. Like, we're here to help you. So contact either one of us. We're happy to step forward and see what we can do. So thanks, Gary.
Absolutely. Well, all have a great night. Please go to bed knowing that you do have our support, that we are doing everything we possibly can for you, and that that we're in it together. Okay, so thanks very much, everyone. I'll say goodbye. I'll say thank you very much, Kevin, for your time. I really do appreciate it. You do help me out personally a lot, and always with a smile on your face, and very generously giving of your time, so much that I sometimes think that I'm stalking you. But thank you very much, mate. I really do appreciate all your help.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, mate. Bye now.